Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Aardvark Pick live show and reaction. I just did Book of the Month. Now I'm flipping over and doing Aardvark. I know that Aardvark has some very exciting books. People are going crazy for it. So let's see what everybody's talking about because I have not looked. I mean, I know certain things from their Instagram. But yeah, we're just going to look at the books together and get excited about them together. If you are not subscribed to Aardvark Book Club and you would like to be, go ahead and check the description box. If you use my code TALKBOOKISH, all one word, at checkout, you can get your first book for only $4 if you live in the US. I work with them over on my podcast. So yeah, they gave me a code to share with all of my followers and listeners and viewers. So let's see who's here and then we'll start going over the books. Brandon's here again. Kelly's here. Jesse's here. Good day, mate. You always have the funniest greetings. Good morning. Hey, Devin. Good morning again. Still can't open the app. Hopefully they'll fix it soon. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure at Aardvark headquarters, they are freaking out and scrambling. So, let's see. Hey, Jen. I think my order went through. Oh my goodness, you guys. That's crazy. Okay. Let's see what all this hubbub is about. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay. Oh, let's just let it scroll for a second. I just want to look at these titles. Well, Mate and Bride is what everybody is like, going goo goo gaga over. I already know it. But I'm looking at the covers. This one Bad Nights and Other Stories. I know other people are like dying to get their hands on it. So, yeah. Aardvark original. Interesting. Okay. Where should I start? I think I'm going to start with, if it ever gets here, I'm going to start with Bride. But it's not scrolling now. Okay, here it is. Bride. This is obviously a book that has already been offered up through Aardvark, but they're re-releasing it. And I think it has like really pretty, you can see all of this stuff on their Instagram. Hopefully their Instagram hasn't crashed, but they definitely hyped this and made up. So this is if you want to start the series like you didn't the first time, but now you're like, okay, I can get books 1 and 2. It's a dangerous alliance between a vampire bride and an alpha werewolf. It's a love story, paranormal romance, very spicy. So here's your opportunity. Very popular. But they also have Mate, which is the new release. I like that they're like includes a dog. Romantasy. A human hybrid and an alpha were claw against the bonds of fate in this highly anticipated companion novel to Bride. Again, very spicy. 4 out of 5 explicit open door. I'm personally not going to read the synopsis of this because in case people haven't read the first book yet, and I don't know how, and I personally didn't read it, so I don't know how much it's going to overlap, but you already know what it's about if you are anticipating this book. So you can come back and read this part on your own. Okay. I don't like to spoil series and stuff like that. But that's those 2 books. Okay. And then we have One Bad Night and Other Stories by various Aardvark authors. Okay. Horror lovers everywhere, get ready for One Bad Night. Isn't it funny though that they put that little glowy fish? Remember that? Do y'all remember that being on like TikTok, Instagram Reels, stuff like that? Oh my gosh, I can't. It's gonna make me sad. Okay, dog death. Okay. Oh, dog death. It tells you right there in Stephen Graham Jones's book. So just know. Okay. Aardvark Book Club launched in October 2022, and ever since then, we've been cultivating a healthy obsession with all things horror. We're celebrating our 3-year anniversary with this original horror anthology featuring past 8 Aardvark authors. In Two Observers of the Slaughter Rites on Garnet Island, an anthropologist and his wife travel to the remote island to observe a mysterious yearly ritual. Oh, so I'm not going to say all these titles. A woman learns that she has an unborn twin sister, trapped in a match factory where she spends day after day monotonous daily working in ovens in near darkness. Despite her seemingly conventional life, she can talk to the dead. So it seems like every single book, obviously very different vibe. Red Tide, the carnivorous mer creature of local lore. Wow, there's a lot of stories in this. So, oh, the one bad night, it says an aging lonely man finds fixated on a sinister green parrot after it predicts the death of his beloved dog. Interesting. So if you want to read, I like that they did that though, that they included every single story and said, this is what this one is about, and this one is what this one is about. So that was a smart move on their part, in my personal opinion, because I find that they usually just like summarize anthologies. But I like this breakdown. So good job, Aardvark. So yeah, so you're obviously not going to be able to get this anywhere else. So I think that's maybe this is what is crashing the website, because horror, all of these horror authors, some I've heard of, some I haven't. Rachel Harrison, CJ Lead, Jennifer Thorne, who's this one? S.A. Barnes, Stephen Graham Jones, but I haven't heard of Kylie Baker, yeah, the Bat Eater, and other names. I know that was really popular, but I didn't like read that. And this one, 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔, the author of The Cursed House, I didn't read that or whatever. So I can't wait to hear people's reviews of this. I think this is an excellent way to celebrate, their anniversary. That's awesome. Okay, now that we've got those out of the way, which I think that's what people were really excited about, we can move on to the other stuff now. All right, a horror, the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. What? Okay. Brimming with dark humor, violence, and mystery, the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre is a blood-soaked slasher sure to keep readers guessing until the very last page. Rose DuBois is not your average final girl. Rose is in her late 70s, living out her golden years in the Autumn Springs retirement home. When one of her friends dies alone in her apartment, Rose isn't too concerned. Accidents happen, especially at this age. But then another resident drops dead, and another. With bodies stacking up, Rose can't help but wonder, are these accidents, old age, or something far more sinister? Together with her best friend Miller, Rose begins to investigate. The further she digs, the more concerned she becomes. There's a killer on the loose at Autumn Springs, and if she isn't careful, Rose may be their next victim. Okay, this one sounds so good. I'm getting it. I think I love, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Thursday Murder Club, because of like the retirement home, and then like the people, like elderly characters. And I mean, who doesn't like a good slasher? Okay, Saltcrop, sci-fi. This is reminding me of the cover of The Ferryman, because it has a sailboat on the cover and it's got sci-fi elements. So, okay. The Stardust Grail becomes the epic tale of two sisters who sail across oceans to find their missing third sister, the Earth's environmental salvation. All right, we have some content warnings. Cannibalism. Mentions of suicide. In Earth's not too distant future, seas consume coastal cities, highways disintegrate underwater, and mutant fish lurk in pirate-controlled depths. Skipper, a skilled sailor and the youngest of three sisters, earns money skimming and reselling plastic from the ocean to care for her ailing grandmother. But then her eldest sister, Nora, goes missing. Nora left home a decade ago in pursuit of a cure for failing crops all over the world. When Skipper and her other sister, Carmen, receive a cryptic plea for help, they must put aside their differences and set out across the sea to find and save her. As they voyage through a dying world, both beautiful and strange, encountering other travelers along the way, they learn more about their sister's work and the corporations that want what she discovered. But the further they go, the more certain their mission becomes. What dangerous attention did Nora attract, and how well do they really know their sister or each other? Thus begins an epic journey spanning oceans and continents and a wistful rumination on sisterhood, friendship, and ecological disaster. I mean, this one also sounds really good, but I like sci-fi like this, you know? Okay, so that's interesting. And then also this one, All of Us Murderers, historical fiction, mystery, LGBTIA plus, gothic fiction. I like the cover of this. It feels like an old like Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys cover. Like that's what it looks like. Um, okay, let's do the content warnings. Ableism, homophobia, references to sexual abuse off page. Okay, who will survive Lackaday House? When Zeb is summoned to a wealthy relative's remote Gothic manor, he is horrified to find all the people he wants to see in the world: his estranged brother, his sneering cousin, and his bitter ex-lover, Gideon Grey. Things couldn't possibly get worse. Then the master of the house announces the true purpose of the gathering. He intends to leave the vast family fortune to whoever marries his young ward, setting off a violent scramble for her hand. Zeb wants no part of this greedy family, but when he tries to leave, the way is barred. The walls of Lackaday House are high and the gates firmly locked. As the Dartmoor mists roll in, there's no way out, and something unnatural may be watching them from the house's shadowy depths. Fear and paranoia ramping ever higher, Zeb has nowhere to run but to the man who once held his heart. As the gaslight flickers and terror takes hold, can two warring lovers reunite, uncover the murderous mysteries of Lackaday House, and live to tell the tale. And I love how they always like taste the very first page. So if you're like unsure or you've never read from an author before, it's always an option to like try it out, see if you like the writing. And then our last pick is The Mad Wife. Love this cover, especially since it's historical fiction, very nostalgic. Okay, with Odes of the Bell Jar, and I like the Bell Jar, comes a searing historical suspense following a 1950s housewife who, when a mysterious new wife moves across the way, begins to unearth dark secrets about her neighborhood and her own mind. Ooh, okay, stillbirth, forced institutionalization. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, taste the first page. Okay. In the 1950s, nothing is valued more than conformity, and Lulu Mayfield had spent the last 5 years molding herself into the ideal housewife. But after the birth of her daughter, Lulu's carefully constructed life begins to teeter. Exhausted by expectations and haunted by tragic memories, Lulu looks to her new neighbor, Bitsy. Bitsy, always the model of a perfect housewife, is not quite what she seems, and Lulu knew something dark lurks beneath Bitsy's constant smile. Increasingly fixated on Bitsy and her perfect crafted life, Lulu's mental state begins to fracture, and memories she has suppressed long ago begin to rise to the surface. Soon, Lulu is forced to confront the possibility that she might be headed down a path much darker than she could ever foresee. Set against the backdrop of a post-war era defined by tradition and constrained femininity, the Mad Wife weaves together a coming-of-age search for identity with a psychological drama so poignant you won't be able to put it down. Okay, so those are the choices. We have Bride and Mate, One Bad Night, The Mad Wife, All of Us Murderers, Saltcrop, and The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre. Okay, that's what we have. Let me know what you chose in the comments. Okie dokie. All right. Yes. Yes. The viral anglerfish that we thought was huge and it ended up being really small. Hello. Welcome. It's getting too old for this. Oh, yeah. um Yeah, you're right. The geriatric mysteries are quite the trend recently. Yes, yes. And you skipped this month. Understandable. Okay. Well, like I said, I do have a code that if you use at checkout, it gets you your first box, your first book for only $4. Again, that's US only, but the code is Talk Bookish. If you're watching this back later, definitely let me know what you chose. Again, I hope everybody has a wonderful October. If you missed the Book of the Month live show, I also have that available on my channel for October, and I do these every single month. I always do Aardvark on the 1st because that is when they release their books, and I typically do Book of the Month when they release their books, which is sometimes on the 1st, sometimes a few days before the beginning of the month, but I usually do them on the day that they released, but I wasn't able to do that this time. But anyway, everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all soon. All right. Bye, everyone.